Hello again, I am Jim Bob and welcome to another Farming Simulator 17 map tour. Now we're getting a lot of maps hitting us in quick succession. This is the second new map in 2 days and there are still more maps in testing, so we may well see even more map tours popping up on the channel next week. But today we are looking at the Terra Italica, a brand new map from Team FSI Modding, and wow, this is actually a really special little map. I actually really like this map. It's got so much character and charm that it kind of won me over more than I was expecting. It comes in at around 443 megabytes, somewhere in that region. It is seasons ready. I did load it up with the Sweden Geo to check the snow masks, and all of the buildings around the farm do have a snow mask applied to them, so that's great news. And because this is a Tuscan map, so in that kind of Tuscany region of north-central Italy, it already has the perfect geo for it with the north-central the North Central Italy Geo. So if you do want to play this with seasons, you've already got the ideal climate mod available for this map. So let's jump in and let's take a closer look at this. And this is where we start off. On the top of these stairs, just inside this little carport here, kind of our entrance to the house, you can see we've got this boar's head just sort of mounted above our front door here. It's quite an intimidating little sight when you turn around. And then we've got these photos here of a farm, and you can actually see that these are dated as well. So this photo just here, if I get down a bit, you can see is dated Friday the 21st of March 2014. And if we take a look at this photo just here, the date's actually hidden behind that door there, but this one here is dated Tuesday the 11th of March 2014. And, it's just really nice to see these images sort of stuck in here like this. Really does add a little bit of extra character to this little sort of carport. This door will open as well, so if you wanted to park your vehicle just here by the stairs rather than against that wall, then you could do. You have a little bit of choice there. And here we are, out into the farmyard itself. It's a pretty big yard, lots and lots of storage sort of dotted around the place on this yard, and all the animals are here as well. It's all nicely sort of compacted together, so let's have a little wander around and see exactly what's what. I do have this little sort of propane tank just here. Doesn't actually do anything, it's a scenic static prop, but it's just, I like the way it's just kind of tucked in there by the entrance. This tank, however, does do something. This is our fuel tank. So this is where we can top up our tractors and combines and anything else that's going to need some fuel. And we do have a Joskin water trailer parked up next to it as well. Now we have a lot of starting equipment on this farm. There's very little you'll actually need to buy, which is probably a good thing in some respects. There's no nuggets on this map, or at least none that I've found, and I did spend a good 3/4 of an hour to an hour on this map before I started recording, and I couldn't find any nuggets anywhere. And you do have an awful lot of fields as well. I better show you this now before I forget. This is the map itself, and you can see that we own all of the grass fields. So 35, 34, 58, 47, 55, 56, 38, 36, 49, 42, 41, 26 and 27. All of those grass fields we own, and then obviously if I missed them, these two here in the middle as well, 52 and 33. But in terms of crop fields, we don't own that many at all. We've got field number 2 just here, we've got field number 1 just here, and then we have field number 12 at the top just here. So in terms of crop fields, we don't really have that many, and they're all really spaced quite far apart. Oh, tell a lie, we have field 14 just here as well. Just spotted that one there. But there's a lot of really small kind of fields, and our actual crop fields are all dotted all over the place. So you may well need to start, ripping up some of this grass if you want to actually, convert them to crop fields, because there are an awful lot of them. And there you can see the fields that we do start with. Field 1 is fully grown, 14 and is in a state of growth, and 12 has nothing on it just there at all. So yeah, it's a little bit of an odd one, this one. You do start with some animals. You actually start with everything in terms of animals, you know, all three types. So we just pop this over and have a look. You can see we start with 14 sheep, we start with 5 pigs, and we start with 11 cows as well. And we're given a nice little starting quantity of food and water for each of those animal types. Now, if you're playing on seasons, obviously this is going to at least tide you over for a day or two, and then beyond that, you're going to need to sort of you know, really kind of hope that they don't suffer too much health-wise before you're able to start producing stuff, because you don't have an awful lot in terms of quantity. You could always sell the animals off and then make some extra money that way, but you do have enough to get you started there, as you can see. Lots of little scenic touches around the farmyard. This silo here, this is, I believe, this is a milk storage silo, I think, possibly, but it doesn't actually do anything. It's not linked to anything. It's a static prop, but this is our main sort of cow barn here, and I do wonder if the pipe that goes down actually connects to the milk tank, which is just behind this door. It does make me wonder. So a nice little static prop there that doesn't really do anything for us. This door will not open, but this is the back side of our spraying tab just there, as you can see. And I actually really like the way that the animals have been laid out in here. It's a little bit crowded in places, but it's all laid out pretty nicely as well. And this is a really nice little cow barn, the way that this is laid out, because everything is compactly organised around here. So we've got our milking machine, we've got our manure spawn point just here, as you can see. And then if I just open the door and pop my head out, there's the actual manure pit for us to manually load manure into. So it does look as though we're going to have to do some manual mucking out perhaps on these cows. And as we move along here, obviously this is where our food is going to be dropped along this sort of this grate along here. This is where we'll drop our TMR and drop our straw. If we pop over the other side, this is where our grass trough is. So you can see that it's kind of, it looks a little bit strange, but that's because there's hardly anything in it, and it's you know, the mesh, rather than sitting on the floor, is actually sitting across the angle like that, which is why it looks a little bit almost like someone's put a camo netting over the cross over the top of the trough there. But yeah, our food trough, our grass trough, is here in the main bunker, and we don't normally see this now. We normally see the cows' grass trough is somewhere off in the pasture, or you know, quite a distance away from the rest of their food trough, and it's literally just the other side like that, really, really close together. And as we pop out here into this little bit of grass, there's not a huge amount of room for the cows, I have to be honest. They are quite sort of squashed in here. This is where we have the water, and so that's our water trough just there. We do have working gates, as you can see, so you can get in and out that way if you want to. And then over here, in this corner, this is our sheep. So you can see here we have our dialogue box for our sheep. I didn't show you the dialogue box for the cows, I'll do that in a second. And then just over here, you can see we have a spawn point for our wool pallets. Very, very nice and easy. Just in here is the food trough, so that's where we'll drop our grass. And as we say that, we have a sheep coming up to have a little bit of a nibble. And then there is the water trough for the sheep as well. Again, it's a very sort of compact little area around here, but they do open out into this kind of open area around here with these really tall kind of wildflowers and bushes and weeds in here. So this is the farm. This is like the pen for the sheep, and it's unusual because of this grass type. You know, normally we're used to seeing them on just flat grass fields. You know, kind of like this. You know, just on a field like this, and I've not seen them in a sort of an environment like that before, with all this wild grass and wild flowers like that. That's kind of interesting, kind of different. I like that. Right, I did say I was going to show you the dialogue box for the cows as well, didn't I? That, if memory serves me correctly, let's move out the way, cow, is just over here. So this is our entry point for the cows, and again, if you want to, you can open the gate so you can back your trailer up and park it right in the entrance. You know, really good sort of trigger points for the gates as well. You can see I'm stood actually quite far away, and I can open it from here, and it swings all the way open, just a single press of the button. Really like that. You know, you don't have to hold the button down for it to open, just press it once and very nice and done. And we have our chickens just over here. Now, the chickens will actually sort of naturally wander all the way over towards the actual entrance to the farm over there. But this is where the eggs themselves are spawned. And they spawn inside this little hut here on this shelf. So you can come in here and collect all the eggs like that. They're all nicely compacted into one small place. I like that. So you don't have to go scrabbling around on the ground if you want to, if you want to collect eggs. They're really nice and easy to find. So we looked at the cows, we've looked at the sheep. Now it's time to look at the pigs. As we make our way over to the pigs, you can see we've got more of our starting equipment. We have the Euroboss loading wagon just here. We also have the Pottinger front mower and the folding rear mower. We also have a New Holland roll belt round baler, the Pottinger windrower, and the small Vicon Fanex tedder as well. And we also have a dialogue box just here for our pigs. So again, you can see we can trigger the pigs, opening the gate just there. And there's our dialogue box. And what you will see, you might not have spotted these straight away, and I must admit, the first time I looked at these, I didn't spot these at all. We actually have light switches. Now, these are usually quite tricky to actually specifically target which one you want, because they're so close together that you end up targeting both of them at the same time, and also closing the gate as well. But there you go, we've just turned both lights on as well, so you can see we do have lights in here. And there are also lights outside somewhere, I believe, as well. They don't show up very brightly during the daytime, but when it's dark, then you do see them. And these actually glow at night as well. These little red little patches just here, they actually glow bright white at night as well, so you can actually see where the light switches are. Like I said, I didn't spot those at first, but when I loaded up the Sweden Geo and everything was very dark, that's when I suddenly realised that there were light switches there. Just close the gate so the pigs don't escape, and let's take a look at the pigs themselves. So we've got a decent sized little area over here. Got another gate access for them just there, look. And then as we move around here, you can see this is the water trough for our pigs. And if we move around here, this is the food trough for our pigs. I do like these kind of little drop systems just here like this. And then our straw will sort of appear in this area here. So there's no designated marked spot, so I would imagine that you kind of drop the straw at the same point that you drop here, but it might be possible that you have to actually drive in through this gate to drop the straw in. If you're using a straw blower, it should be nice and easy to just drop in there, just over the shoot it over the wall. We have a little sort of silo here on the side. This is the model that is used for the pig silo mod, but this is actually just a static prop. This isn't an active silo in any way, shape or form. And then you can see we have a slurry tank just here. And I'm looking, where is the manure tank? I'm not actually sure where the manure tank is. Maybe the cows' manure tank is the manure tank for the cows, and the one that's outside next to the big slurry tank for the cows is actually for the pigs. I haven't seen where the pig's manure pit is, so it's entirely possible that what I thought was the cow's manure pit is actually for the pigs. Could be. Could be indeed. As we move around here, the other side of our cow barn, you can see that we do have a FarmTech manure spreader, and we also have a Garrett Cotter slurry spreader. And oh, speaking of slurry, I just fell in the pit. I don't know if I can get out of here, actually. No, I'm drowning in slurry. Oh dear. I've never fallen in one of these pits before and not been able to get out again. So I'm going to have to teleport to my truck. So you didn't see that, honest. Right, let's make our way back around to where we were. Then we'll attack from the other side of that slurry pit. So yeah, that big slurry pit is obviously the slurry pit for our cows, just there. And you can see we do have this manure fork just here. We have a bale spike just here. And here is the first of our actual tractors. We have the 8340 New Holland, complete with a front loader just here. We actually have quite a few tractors on this map. Like I said, we have a lot of starting equipment. There's a lot more that you haven't seen yet that you're going to in a moment. And then we have this really big bunker for making silage here at the farm. Look at how long this thing is, and it's quite wide and it's pretty high. The amount of silage you would need to fill this thing is a lot, I would imagine. I mean, just look at the sheer scale of this thing. And it seems almost counterintuitive to have such a huge bunker for silage when you have such a small enclosure for cows. They're really going to be rammed in there if you need large numbers. So that feels maybe a little bit too big for this particular farm, but I don't know. We'll see. As we swing around here, we have more of our equipment. So we have this kind of workshop bay area, although there is no workshop trigger for us to modify vehicles. But that doesn't stop us from using either the toolbox mod or the workstation mod that came out a bit more recently, and dropping one of those in around here so that we can modify our vehicles. We have a Sawmill Fortis, as you can see. It's a 160, so 160 horsepower, with a front weight as well. And as we move around here, you can see we also have the Amazona seeder just here for our row crops. We have the Horsch Terrano cultivator. We don't see this very often anymore. You know, it's not very often we ever get this as a starting piece of equipment, so that's kind of nice to see something a little different there. And the Kuhn Verimaster plough. We see this all the time. And as we move around, you can see that we also have our pressure washer just here. So we have kind of a nice little bay sort of area to kind of clean stuff here. And we do have, over here, I kind of breezed past these a little bit, we do have another couple of seeders and fertilizer spreaders over here. So you can see here more Kverneland equipment over here. This is the Accord DL seeder for our standard grains. We have some pallet forks, and then we don't have a fertilizer and seed fill trigger points, but we do have, as you can see, a lot of actual pallets given to us to start with. So we have, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 6 pallets of seed. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. No, 6 pallets of solid fertilizer, and then 5 pallets of liquid fertilizer. So a lot of pallets to get us started. Normally when we get some pallets on a farm, you get like 1 or 2 of each, and that's it. But this, as I say, 6 seed, 6 solid fertilizer, and 5 liquid fertilizer. So plenty to keep you going until you'll need to kind of restock. So if you want to do a farm with big bags or with pallets, this might be the perfect farm for you to do that, because you get a nice good starting allowance, and then you'll need to go back and buy your next supply for the following planting season. And then you can see here we have the Kverneland Exacta fertilizer spreader as well. So nice little extra couple of bits of equipment and a good stash of starting seed and fertilizer over there. And as we make our way around the side here, we're getting back towards the pigs. There's that silo just there, as you can see. This is our actual silo just here. This is our grain silo. You can see we've got a little bit more equipment poking through just there. So as we drive through, this is where we're going to be storing our grain. 800,000 litres of storage here, and this silo will hold straw and pig food, and sugar beets and potatoes on top of all the regular grains as well. But it won't hold grass, it won't hold hay, it doesn't hold TMR or silage or wood chips. So a little limited in some respects, but certainly a lot more than we normally get. And this is the downpipe, so this is where we can retrieve our grain from. And as we move to the other side, you can see we've got this scenic pipe here. That is literally just a scenic pipe. Nothing comes out of that. But this is where our combine is. We start off with the TC590 with a corn header mounted on the front, and then the grain header on the trailer behind it. So it's really great that we actually get both headers for our combine here as part of our starting equipment. We also have some more FarmTech equipment here to go along with our FarmTech manure spreader. We have the trailer here, 15,000 litre trailer, and a Lamborghini. How often do we ever see this on a farm in terms of starting equipment? We have the Lamborghini, complete with a front weight as well. So it makes sense, really. Italian company, Italian tractor, and Italian map. It makes sense to have that on there. Same with the Sawmill Fortis, again, Italian company. Stick it in with the Italian map. It kind of makes sense to have those there. And the great thing as well with having those Fiat tractors come out as mods over the last few months means that you now have the real opportunity to kind of jump in and do an Italian themed farm. If you get rid of some of the other tractors on this map, then you can replace them with Fiats, and you've obviously still got the Sawmill Fortis, you've got the Lamborghini. You've got a few different options now for having some Italian machinery on your farm, which is really good. I like that. And there we go. That is kind of the main farm itself. That's everything that's sort of parked up over here. You do get, as I say, an awful lot of gear, and you get quite a few tractors as well. So we've got this really good sized Lambo just there. We've got our Same Fortis just in there. We've got our New Holland just around there, and there is one other tractor that's kind of lurking somewhere else on the map. We will come to that in a bit, and I'm going to use the Lamborghini to do the rest of the map tour, because it's actually quite pokey at 40 miles an hour, and it's a Lamborghini. How often do we get to drive a Lamborghini? So why not? Why not indeed? We've got an access point there for field 41, one of our grass fields, but we're going to ignore that because we're going to go out the main farm. And I'm going to take you on kind of a meandering, wandering tour around the map here to try and show you everything that I can. So as we head out of here, we're going to swing left, and we're going to head up this pathway here. And I just love this. You know, we've got these lowlands down here before we start getting into the hills. It's really sort of open and scenic around this area, and it's not like this around the whole map. The map really does change character as you move from location to location. You can see we're starting to get up to the town area. We'll actually be checking that out towards the end. I'm going to take you on a bit of a winding route first. In fact, you know, we'll pop up here. We'll have a quick look. There is a sell point just up here. There are a lot of sell points, a very, very large number of sell points on this map, but they all seem to do individual things. And some of them seem to double up on themselves as well. So this is the spinnery that we're driving up to just up here. So you've got this really sort of steep hills and tight roads, and here, as you can see, is our spinnery, our selling point for wool. But this isn't the only spinnery. And then obviously we've got an egg sell point just there as well. There are actually two separate wool sell points that do nothing but wool on this map. That's unusual, really, to see two separate, completely independent, competitive wool sell points. I don't know if I've ever seen that before. And it's not a huge map by any degree, so it does seem a little bit strange that you would have two completely separate wool points like that. But there you go. That's it. That's the main one here in this little town area. I do recommend you have a little explore through there, because it is very, very nice and scenic in there. And we're going to make our way over this way to the biogas plant. And now we're going to start the sort of wandering, meandering tour. And this BGA is actually really kind of unique and special. I really do like this BGA. And I love where we have these dirt lines sort of ingrained on the road, where a lot of the mud's been sort of really hammered down as vehicles have been turning. It's kind of been thrown from the tyres. I like this look. You get some real emphasis on vehicles turning in that respect. I love these reflective beacons. Again, I don't know why we don't have them on consoles. You can see them actually shining, look, on the on the tractor. You know, if we get the same excuse, the same tired excuse that Giants that we can't have reflective beacons on Farming Sim 19, I will not be a very happy man, but we'll see. You can see we've got a little weighbridge going up along the side there. We're actually going to ignore that and nip down here. None of these doors open, so you can't drive in there. And just clip the walls trying to pan the camera. You can't sort of park in any of these bays. But this is the sell point just here. There's no shredder. There's no digestate, digestate sort of shredder over here. It's this. This is our sell point. You kind of basically lift the lid and then dump everything in here, which is really, really different. I love that. And I love that these stone slabs that kind of pop up through here as well. You know, there's some really nice attention to detail in some parts around here. It really is very, very nice indeed. And again, we've got these stone slabs to create a pathway through here. Absolutely fantastic. And then our digestate sort of fill point is just here, as you can see. This is where we can top up our digestate around this tank. So, yeah, it's a really different BGA. It's something that we haven't seen as a regular thing before, and I love that. I love the fact that it is something completely new. So we're going to make our way around to the back side of the BGA where the bunkers themselves are. And you can see we have 2 of these bunkers, and again, pretty long-sized bunkers and very tall as well. So a good amount of silage that you'll be able to make in each of those. I don't think they're quite as big as the one at the farm though. I think that's actually a little bit bigger. And as we make our way out of here, this is where we're going to start wandering and meandering around the edges of the map to hit all the different sell points. So from here, we are going to hang a right, drive alongside this little bit of stream here, and then we're going to take another right and head our way down to Le Casapole. I think that's how it's pronounced. I may be wrong. But we're going to take this turn just here. And it's really tight on some of these roads, and this is where the character of the map starts to change. So we start to see these wild bushes, and the grass seems to change a little bit, and we get more trees sort of closing in on the map, and it starts to get hillier, and that open, flat, very picturesque land that we started off with around the farm suddenly changes as we move into a lot of sort of wild grassland. We've got a nice sort of old building here for storage if we want to use it. A couple of little different bays there. We go over this lovely little bridge just here, an old dried up sort of river creek just there. And as we carry on around the corner, you can see how the whole feel of this map is suddenly starting to change. And we've got this tiny little roundabout here, which just came out of nowhere when I first did my tour. It kind of, my first look, it kind of really surprised me to see that there. And then we get this different road surface as we come off on the other side, and as we carry on along this track, you'll eventually find that it starts to go into a state of disrepair. I'm not sure what I hit just there, but here we go. We're pulling up to our first of the sort of perimeter sell points here. There we go. And so this is La Casapole. Terrible pronunciations, I am sure. But this one here is a wheat, barley, canola and soybean sell point. So this won't do everything. This will only do sort of standard grains, you know, that you would get from a standard sort of seeder. So the wheat, the barley, the canola, the soybean, that's it. You know, you can't do sunflowers, can't do your corn, can't do sugar beets or anything like that. It's just those grains. And from here, I'm going to rejoin the road surface, and now you can see that the road is starting to be retaken by nature. As we move around here, this is an old road that hasn't been maintained and looked after very much, so sections of it have just, yeah, the concrete has crumbled and broken away, and nature is reclaiming this road in places. And see what I mean about how the whole character of the map has changed around this area. It feels so completely different to that area where we first started around our farm, where it was big open rolling fields and felt very bright and open and colourful, and now it feels a little bit kind of out in the wilds a little bit around here. See, we've got another little scenic area just here. As we continue to make our way around, let's get a little bit more speed up. You need to be careful with some of those bumps because they will launch you if you take them at the wrong speed. We're about to rejoin a more traditional road, I hope, but no, you can see the road's really breaking up around here. And back there as well, you can see these side roads here not been maintained properly, and they are just being completely reclaimed in places by nature. I like that feature, how it's just given up in some places. So you can see we're heading up to Laneticio, which is our next sell point, and this is our second wool point. So this is what I said, it seems a bit strange. It's a long way to come as well for just a wool sell point, but it seems a bit odd to have two separate competing wool sell points on this map that do nothing but just wool. It does seem very odd indeed. Again, look how tight and twisty things are around here, and how rustic and old everything feels. And if we just pop our heads in, we'll go in on foot because it's quite tight in here. Here you can see we've got some wool pallets sort of lined up around here, and here is our checkbox. Now, when I actually did my first look, the sell point price difference was actually quite significant. This spinnery was actually in the red and was in the low sort of 8,000s. This sell point here was in the green and was around 14, 15,000. Now this is a medium file. 14.5, 15,000 is a lot for wool on medium, a huge amount. So the prices for wool on this map are very, very good indeed. And you can see here, the spinnery, again, at the moment, this is like a really good price for the spinnery. And Lanificio here is really out in the distance, but it's only a couple of $100 less, and this is a rock bottom price for this location. So, if you make the trip out here, you will be rewarded. It's just a question of getting your timing right. Let's get back into our Lambo. We're going to make our way carrying along on this side road here. You can see we've got a main road just going above us there on that little bridge. As we swing around this corner, there is a little side path here that we could follow to get to the main road, but we're going underneath. As you can see, cracking little road bridge there. And we are heading over to the animal dealership as our next sort of area. Big open areas around here. And these really tight twisty hills. Look how we're struggling up this hill. Can you imagine trying to pull, a lot of grain around here? And here is our final tractor, just kind of lurking away. We have the Geo Lintrack, for some reason painted in John Deere colours, just hiding up here, parked up next to the church. Not really sure why, but there it is. I'm not sure how it got up there either. But yeah, that is our final tractor parked up just there. So as I say, from here we're going to swing a right at the end of this little dirt road here, and we're going to take a look at the animal dealership and the sell points that are there as well, because there are a few. So we just turn here and swing our way in here. Now there's a little bit of a confusion on this one because it's got an incorrect prompt. So this is a bit of a bug that you're going to see. But just here we've got our animal dialog box, so you can pick up our animals and order some new ones or sell just here if we want to. And this is the bug. We've got this sell box just here. Now this is our barn sell point. This is where we can sell our straw, our grass, our hay, and just bales in general. And it actually comes up with a silos prompt. So it's got the wrong text prompt just here. So don't be confused and think that that's a silo, because it's not. It's actually a sell point for your root, for your forage. And then just here we have a slurry sell point and then a manure sell point as well. So this is all the sell items that are covered here at the animal dealership. And it kind of makes sense to have all these kind of here at the animal dealership. They're all animal associated products. Straw, grass, hay, manure and slurry. It makes sense that if you're going to sell them, you would sell them, I suppose, at the animal dealership. So that's quite a nice little feature there. And we're going to quickly just drop down a little bit. So we're going to swing left and head down to the store just here, and then the sell point behind it, as you can see. So here is our vehicle shop. Open this door. Do like all the way the brands are sort of labelled here quite nicely on the side here. It's very much an AGCO dealership, as you can see系to the symbol on the side, but they will sell everything. So you can see we've got Challenger, Grimmer, Fence, AGCO and Massey on the side panels there. We've got a vehicle customization box just there, and then all of our equipment will spawn here on the back side of the building. So starting around about here is where the equipment will actually start spawning, and then go across that way, but facing the other way round. So if I just quickly drop in one of these just to show you. There we go. That's where our equipment will start to spawn, and then we'll spawn all the way across the side here. So you've got plenty of space to actually drop your equipment in, and if you want to reset your equipment, then it resets to the main farm, and it resets it around about here in this yard area just over here. So that's the reset point for the farm. Let's make our way back outside. We're going to check out that other sell point now. And this is actually a really nice little sell point. Oops. It's good to see that my driving has improved over the years of me playing Farming Simulator. Dear. So this is Italia Zuccheri Commerciale. And yes, that's a terrible fake Italian accent, but there we go. This is our sugar beet farm, or sugar beet sell point, as I should say. This gate's a little slow, but it does open up automated, as you can see, quite nicely. It's a very big sell point for just one small cell box, but this is the cell box just over here. So we tip our sugar beets into that little check box, so they go into the pile, then the pile takes them over into the conveyor into the building, and so on and so forth. Yeah, this is a sugar beet only sell point. But it's a very, very big one, as you can see. And it does have multiple entrances. So if we go over this weighbridge just here, you can see that we have another entrance just here, which we're going to take, because we're going to head down to the next sell point. So we drive our way down here. There is actually some blue chicken wire, which you can't see very clearly until we get close to it. But there you can see it is the chicken wire. And then the gates just open up, and we pop in here. And this, I'm trying to pronounce this correctly if I can. This is alla catapecchia. So this sell point here is for sunflowers. We go to the top, and corn. So this is our root crop, our row crop sell point. So whereas at La Casapule we can only sell the wheat, the barley, the canola, and the soybean, up here we can only sell the sunflowers and the corn. It's a nice little change, so that it kind of splits those grains out into different sell points. But as I say, you're starting to see that there's a lot of sell points sort of dotted around, and they all have very specific purposes. So where do we go from here? Well, from here, what we're going to do is we're going to head up to the sort of top left area of the map. So we're going to carry on this way. And when we get to the end, we're going to turn right and follow the road around that way. And again, you can see that the map is going into that kind of wild territory again, with all the wildflowers, the wild grass. And it's very sort of green around this area. Very rocky. Lovely little bridge over a river just there as well. And we're kind of rejoining up to the main road here. And here we go. This is where our next stop is. This is one of our main grain sell points. So this is actually a train sell point. Although the train itself is static, it doesn't actually move. There is a rail sell point here. So you drive in, you deposit over the grate, as you can see, and then the railway line actually runs right alongside, and that kind of loads, picks up from this location. And that also carries on a bit further down to... actually, no, I don't think this is a rail sell point. I think this is just a railway going past the sell point. But there is, a train or two parked up on this map, which we're going to see in a little moment. We swing our way down under here. Oh, I was going to show you what grains that place actually does, wasn't I? As you can see, this sell point here, is it Consortio or is it Consortio Emilia? It's the Emilia, so it's this one here, and you can see that it covers everything basically. So all 5 of our main grain types there, including our row crops. We're going to go underneath the railway itself, and this is still the main road. So even though the road looks really old and broken and tatty, this is actually the main road. So you will see traffic on this road from time to time, but it goes in the same direction that we do. So you will accelerate up behind it very quickly if you're driving a tractor like this, because it goes so much faster. Lovely little water feature just there on the side, really small little things. And I love that, the way that sort of stream cuts through the hills that we just whizzed past there as well. I'm kind of accelerating a little bit because I'm cautious and wary of time. But here we go to Legnami, which is our next sell point. And this is our sort of sawmill slash biomass plant. So if we just open the gate, make our way back in. A little bit laggy around here because of the trees and some of the props, but here is the wood chip sell point for the biomass heating plant. And then if we follow this little stone road up the hill and around the corner, this is where we get to the sawmill sell point for the wood. So you can sell your lumber and your trees. And there's actually a really nice little feature about this that I do like. So you've got this big sell box just here for selling your wood, right here against the side of the warehouse. So if you want to sell your wood that way, you can do. A little bit of storage around there. And we have the train parked up just here, and it's just a static prop. I haven't seen any controls yet to actually launch this train off. So I don't think it's, like I said, I think this is just a completely static prop. But yeah, this is a really cool little loco. You know, really nice to see something a little bit different on here. And this, again, is a static scenic logging carriage, but it's a cell box. So what you can do is you can kind of drive your truck along here. And as you can see, you can sell your wood directly onto the train. So if you want to get involved in that, in terms of like the the role-playing kind of aspect a little bit, then you can actually climb up the grates, you can get into the crane, you can move and unload off your trailer and then just drop into the cell box just here. And obviously it won't load into that, it'll just disappear the second it gets into that box. But yeah, you can actually sell there. So it'd be interesting to see if you actually make more money selling manually into the train or just dumping everything into the cell box here, around the corner. Yeah, if you've tried that out, please do let me know in the comments. I am really curious to know which of those two is going to pay the better price, or if it's just the same, which could well be. You never know. So making our way back out of this sell point here. Yeah, you see it's a little bit laggy in places, and then we get out and we're pretty much okay again. Again, really nice water features on this map. It's really, really subtly done, I think is the right way to say it. It's just a great shot there. You can see just it running down and the different roads going across, and that's obviously the railway there, going through the tunnel, through the hill, and coming back out on the other side again. It's really, really nicely done. We're going to jump in here for our next sell point. Now this one here is obscured, so I can't read what it says. Let's open up this menu. This is the easiest way to see, I think. So this is Consortium, and this one here again is our other main grain sell point, as you can see. So this is the one that's actually sort of side by side with the railway. This is rather than the first one that I thought we had. And here's our cell grate just there. So we tip our grains into this cell box just here. Now you might not actually need to lift that lid given the size of the check boxes around the side, but if you have a movable lid like that, why wouldn't you open it first? And then you can see that the train will run through here. We've got the transfer point from the building to go into the train itself. Again, it's a scenic static prop, so it's not a genuine active train. You can't actually physically transfer your grains, but I like the fact that it's there. We go over these little sort of level crossing areas just here, and here we have a root crop sell point just here. Now this is a little bit strange, and I'm not sure if this is a bug or if it's deliberate, but this is supposed to be just a potato sell point. So if we take a look at the map here, oops, in the wrong location, you'll see here, we zoom up, that this is Interporto. Interporto just sells potatoes. There's no price for sugar beets because there's a sugar beet only sell point somewhere else, and yet we have a sell box here for potatoes, and then next to it we have a sell box for potatoes. So not having any sugar beets to test this, I don't know if you'll actually get any money here It's possible that you may be able to sell sugar beets, but it's also possible you may not get any money for any beets that you do sell there. So just be wary of that and check it with a small quantity first. Don't just tip everything you have there and suddenly find out you might not get paid at all. Just a little heads up for you there. So I'm going to make our way out to the bottom. In fact, actually, that is the final sell point. That was the last one. So there we go. That is all of the sell points. There's a lot of them, and there's a lot of fields, as you can see. Everything's really kind of spaced out as an awful large number of fields, but none of the fields are particularly massive. So if you have a larger combine than the little sort of TC590, you can chew through them really, really quickly. So the prices aren't that generous either. They are a little bit expensive. You can see here we're paying $92,000 for a 1 hectare field. It's not a particularly big field. We find another field nearby. You know, you can expect to pay in the hundreds of thousands for some, you know, pretty large-sized fields. We've got field 64 alongside us here. We'll check the price of field 64, show you how much that one's going to cost as a kind of a good example, because that's quite a big-sized field. And then we're going to have a little drive through the town as we kind of summarise the map. There we go. So you can see this field here, $233,500. So not the cheapest of fields. As I say, you don't have any gold nuggets, at least none that I've been able to find on this map. So that's a little bit of a shame in some respects, given how expensive the fields are. But you start off with a ton of land because you have all of those grass fields. So there's nothing to stop you from actually converting some of those grass fields to crops and having a little exploration that way. You know, there's nothing to stop you from kind of using some of that land that you own to create a lot of traditional style fields. You could actually make quite a lot of money, you know, by transforming most of your grass fields. You're going to need to keep some as grass because you have animals to start with. And that's something else you need to take into consideration. But even if once you've done that, you know, you've still got, you know, the opportunity for let's get rid of this, because I think that's going to be my thumbnail just there. Beautiful shot. You've also got the opportunity, you know, to so with those animals, I've kind of lost my train of thought here. Oh dear, where was I saying? Yeah, because you've got the animals, you're going to need to keep some of the grass fields, but there's nothing to stop you from actually turning a lot of these grass fields into crops, and you can actually make a lot of money. And a lot of these fields are actually pretty big as well. I mean, look at the size of field 49 and field 38, and yeah, I would say keep these two because they're close to the farm. Field 27 over here, big grass area over here. Field 55 and 56, look at the size of these fields here. They're much bigger than the vast majority of the actual agricultural fields on this map. So you don't really need to buy a lot of fields, and you have a lot of starting equipment, so you don't really need to buy any equipment. There's the odd little bit that you'll probably need, like a mixer, but that's pretty much it for your TMR. Everything else is pretty much covered. So you know, you're kind of sitting pretty. You have enough equipment to keep you going, and you can always trade a few bits out here and there to raise any extra money. You've got a loan to fall back on if you need it. You've got a ton of land to work with, and you have some animals. So yeah, a really nice little map, very, very picturesque. Lots and lots of sell points. Some really, really nice distinguishing features on this map. This is definitely worth a look. I would definitely recommend you check this out and have a little play about on it. And because it is seasons ready and it is an Italian map in the north central region of Italy, in Tuscany, it has the perfect geo to go with it already. So it's definitely, you know, something that's worth trying out on seasons as well. But there we go. That's my take on the Terra Italica. Do do let me know what you thought of it in the comments. If you like the video, please do drop me a like. If you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, then by all means go ahead and click on that subscribe button. You can find me on Facebook, and you can also find me on Twitter. Links are in the video description down below, and I will be back with another map tour very soon.